Josh Allen is most definitely one of the most talented quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm, he's nearly impossible to tackle in the open field, and every game he makes a throw after throw that most quarterbacks are incapable of doing. But just because he has very good highlights and numbers, that doesn't mean that he's ever going to get over the hump. Today, I'm going to be making the case that Josh Allen is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL and explain why he and the Bills are never going to win the Super Bowl, and lastly, how I compare him to the Star Wars character Darth Maul. It seems like since becoming Buffalo's full-time starter in 2019, Josh Allen has constantly been ranked as a top quarterback in football every single offseason, and people put him in the MVP conversation year in and year out. People also picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl, and yet not only have they not reached the Super Bowl, they haven't won an AFC championship. So in the 7 years, the expectations have never matched the results. And don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not a great talent. The truth is, on any given Sunday, he's one of the best players in the NFL and is literally Buffalo's entire system. But that is exactly why he is the problem. The problem is he is a failing system, and I will explain why. Buffalo is paying Josh Allen almost $57 million this year, and they were the number one rushing offense this last year. So do you already kind of see a little bit of irony? But again, don't get me wrong, Allen is a huge reason for that because he is one of the NFL's best scrambling quarterbacks, but that is a point that gets him into trouble quite a bit. Josh Allen is often on the other end of trying to do too much. He knows he's capable of pulling off some insane highlight reel plays, but that is exactly where things go wrong for him. A lot of his career can be boiled down to not making the right play or the simple play at the correct time. And this play is a tremendous example of what I'm talking about because Josh Allen does not need to do a thing that he is doing in this play. The Bills, they don't have a timeout. There's 16 seconds left. He would look to his right at James Cook, who's running a corner, and it's taken away, so he takes off immediately, and some stupid voice in his head tells him to let go of the ball, release it, whatever. I don't know what he's thinking. And he fumbles the ball, and the Broncos are able to pick it up, and immediately, the very, very next play, they kick a field goal to put them ahead by 10. And guess how much they win this game by? They win this game by 3 points. So if Josh Allen doesn't do his stupid thing right here, right? A lot of times in turnovers you can point, say, hey, maybe the O-line, they didn't do their job, or maybe a play or two before the tight end, he didn't catch the pass. This was directly on Josh Allen here, and you can't tell me otherwise. Thank God I'm not a Bills fan, man, because I have no idea what that is. That play reminded me of Brett Favre's 2009 NFC Championship interception, which kind of leads me on to my next point, which is there are a number of quarterbacks throughout NFL history, and I think Josh Allen is going to be one of them that puts up really good numbers, has a really cool highlight reel, but their accomplishments are almost nothing, you know? I think of Dan Marino when I hear an all-time talented quarterback who's never won a Super Bowl. He's at the top of this list, but there's also other guys like Fran Tarkenton, Warren Moon, Phillip Rivers. I mean, the list does kind of go on and on. You know, there's whether it's the team around them or them themselves, their careers do not cater to them winning a Super Bowl. And if you ask yourselves, or Bills fans, if you ask yourself, when Josh Allen's career is all said and done in 10, 15 years, if he has 0 Super Bowls, that is definitely a disappointment. Now, if he goes the Brett Favre kind of route and he has 1 Super Bowl, I definitely think that is still a huge disappointment because this is a player who is constantly in MVP conversations, and this is a team who's constantly in Super Bowl conversations. And truth be told, I just don't think that Josh Allen is ever going to win a Super Bowl. I do think that if he goes the Brett Favre kind of route and wins 1 Super Bowl, that it's still a disappointment because of the things that I just said. However, year in and year out, it is a Josh Allen clinic of him kind of pissing down his leg at some of the biggest moments in playoff games, and you feel bad for him and his teammates, and none of the blame gets put on Josh Allen ever by the national media. Instead, year after year, it's another excuse on why Allen isn't the problem. And the reason why Allen is a failed system is because Buffalo has their entire offensive system built around him, and they can't just stop that. They spent so much money on Allen, the running back, and parts of their O-line that they aren't just going to change things up. From a number standpoint, it works. Their O-line is good, their running backs are good, their tight ends are great, and their wide receivers are good enough, but the whole game plan relies on Josh Allen being the guy. And time again, Josh Allen has failed on the NFL's biggest stages. This is an offense that they don't need a wide receiver one like a Amon-Ra, an A.J. Brown, a Justin Jefferson. They have consistently been a top offense in the league, mainly because they have a quarterback and a running back that terrorizes the other defenses with their legs. But where I get confused, though, is what's Buffalo's game plan? Because this is arguably the best rushing offense in the NFL, but you don't want to pay your quarterback $57 million a year to run the ball. And keep in mind, this is also a team that hasn't given Josh Allen great wide receiver options since wide receiver Stephon Diggs left a couple of years ago. So what exactly do you expect? They drafted Keon Coleman, but he hasn't really been panning out yet. So is the game plan to just let Josh Allen throw to some wide receiver 2s and 3s and hope that the run game can pick up for the struggles? I mean, it's gotten them far each year, but it hasn't worked. When you're going up against a Mahomes, a Burrow, or a Lamar, or a terrific defense like Denver's, you can't be one-dimensional. You have to have every aspect of your game hitting. And a huge reason why I think he's a broken system is because you got to keep paying him a ridiculous amount of money year after year because of his regular season numbers. Each year on the small stage, he's going to show you why he's the guy. He's going to make some great throws, have some insane highlight reel plays, but when it comes time to perform on the biggest stage, he hasn't come through. I mean, ask yourself, what is Josh Allen most known for? Josh Allen is most known for a game that he lost, which was the Chiefs' 13-second comeback. And let me tell you really quick, that was supposed to be Josh Allen's year. For 13 seconds, they were going to the Super Bowl. He had a great wide receiver, he had a great O-line, a really good run game, and a good defense. It was their year. And we all know exactly how that game ended. But if he couldn't win that year with a terrific team around him, and he also couldn't do it this last year with no Mahomes, Burrow, or Lamar in the playoffs, then I just don't ever see it happening. And Buffalo, they're not going to move on from this elite quarterback, but they pay him and treat him as if he's some 4,500-yard passer and a 40-pace touchdown thrower that has reached the Super Bowl once or twice, when none of those things are true. And this was a little shocking for me, but he hasn't thrown for 4,000 yards in 2 years, and he has never once hit 40 touchdowns. So besides a highlight tape that has only ever brought him to Cancun, I'm honestly a little confused why he's talked about year in and year out as one of the NFL's best. He's good in the regular season, but what does that get you? A cookie? I mean, he's good, but he's the kind of good in a home run derby. Yeah, he can hit a ball when it doesn't matter, but when it does matter, he's pissed down his leg. Through 128 regular season games, he has 220 passing touchdowns, 65 rushing touchdowns, 94 interceptions, and 74 fumbles. So he has a total of 285 touchdowns and 168 turnovers, which is a 1.7 turnover ratio, which is it's nothing crazy good or nothing bad, but people treat him like he's a disciple of Jesus himself. And the reason why I say he is the NFL's version of Darth Maul is because both Josh Allen and Darth Maul are extremely talented. There's no denying that, right? They're some of the best at what they do. However, their stories seem extremely similar. Two people who go through such a hard journey and do incredible things to crawl their back way to their final objective, but time and time again, they fall short to a greater power. In Star Wars, this is Palpatine killing Maul's brother, and Obi-Wan, just being in his way the entire time. And in football, this is basically Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, as well as the Sean McDermott firing, which is kind of, Darth Maul losing his brother. So I don't know if you guys see the connection, but I totally do, and I think that's the way that Josh Allen's career is going to be. And again, I'll be honest, if they couldn't win with a wide receiver 1 like Stephon Diggs and the running game they had that year, I just don't see them winning it ever. I see Josh Allen as someone who's going to constantly come up short time and time again, and hey, maybe I'm wrong, but if he couldn't do it this last year with no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar in the playoffs, he's just simply not ever going to do it. So one last time, don't get me wrong, he's an extremely talented quarterback, but with the money that he's making and the inconsistency issues, I just don't see a way that the Bills can get past or beat the Chiefs, Ravens, Patriots, or Broncos and bring them to the Super Bowl, let alone then you have to win the Super Bowl. So the road is way too long to have Josh Allen to be perfect. Alright guys, so that does it for today's video. I hope you guys took away something and learned something. If you like this video, consider dropping a like and subscribing. And as always, if you guys are feeling froggy, go and jump.